Inevitably, though, even if you're doing, like, funny, ironic ones, your recommendations end up just being every waifu game imaginable. First thing that I wanted to discuss in a little bit of a weekly Muse is that Epic has launched self-publishing tools, and it's going to be a little bit more competitive with Valve and Steam, it looks like.
That is the hope.
So for $100, the same fee Valve charges for Steam submissions, anyone can submit a game for inclusion in the Epic Games Store library. The system is similar to Steam Direct, which Valve introduced in 2018, which will probably result in Epic's library ballooning of the next year. And see, when I originally read that, my thought was, well, that just means that they're on par with Steam, right?
Yeah.
But there's more. So to kind of flesh this out a little bit, there are some differences. The first one is that Epic's not going to do any porn games.
Yes, which, if you want Steam,
it's
boy.
like half the library, it feels like.
I mean, well, there's a lot of adult puzzle games that you can get for like $2 or $3. These are your slide puzzles, reveal scantily clad or lingerie or nude or whatever like that.
There's a lot in my recommendations every February, because we always do for Valentine's Day, we're going to do a funny dating sim, like we did Only Cans this year.
Yeah.
And inevitably, though, even if you're doing, like, funny, ironic ones, your recommendations end up just being every waifu game imaginable.
I have to filter out on Steam, I think either not adult, it's probably NSFW or something like that. I can't do anime, because there are games I like that are in the genre that are anime. I have these filters in place, and I still get ones that come through the cracks. It's like, how is this getting through these filters? I don't want this. This is not the kind of game I'm looking for.
I had to filter out adult only, I think is what I did. Mostly just because it's at a certain point, it's like my entire recommendations.
My favorite is when you get one of those adult only games, but then you look at it because you're like, what the heck is this?
Yes.
And you're like,
what is
and it's
this?
got the games this is similar to, and it's like other stuff you've actually played. This is similar to Greedfall. You're like,
no.
What? No.
So anyway, there is that. Maybe that's good for Epic. I'm starting to think, at least I know what my recommendations won't have. And then the other one, though, much more interesting, that multiplayer games must have crossplay with other PC stores. Very good pro-consumer move for them.
Because as I was explaining to you beforehand, before we were recording, apparently what Steam does is you have to use Steamworks.
Yeah.
If you're publishing it through Steam, and I guess Steamworks means that unless you're playing on Steam with somebody else, it doesn't do cross-platform, and like Epic games that are on Epic cannot use Steamworks. So if I have... as the example I used was, if I have the Hunter Call of the Wild, and you have the Hunter Call of the Wild, and you're playing on Epic, I'm playing on Steam, I can't play with you if that was the case, if it was published on Steam.
Right.
But if they're not using Steamworks API for the multiplayer, then you can. And Epic wants to do it so that they have this free to use. You can use our service if you want. The Epic Online service, I think is what they called it. If it's hosted through that, or just using that, you can still play with Epic if you got it on GOG, if you got it on Steam, or any of the other I don't know how many other storefronts there are. There's
so
a few.
many.
Windows games for Windows Live.
Yeah. Whatever you happen to have, you can do it on there. That's really good, just because there are so many game stores now that not being able to have the ability to play across platform is a real kick in the teeth for so many people that have all of these games on different places. Like, I actually buy most of my games on GOG. They will access your other accounts, and you can manage like all of your game libraries right through GOG. So like it knows what my Steam account is and my Epic account, and it will show those games, and it will show me all of the games over every platform that I have too. which was just like, good, I need services that are going to centrally locate. So the idea that Epic's going to do that. More importantly, though, I think also worth noting is that the Epic Online Services API also supports crossplay between PCs and consoles, which is very good too. It means that if you are on an Xbox or a PS5 now, you are going to be able to play with people that have a PC version of a game. Although, little caveat to that, that's not a requirement that Epic is making, but they're making the ability to do so.
Yes. And going from console to PC is not always easy for games to do. So putting a patch through on Steam, for instance, is a lot easier of a process than putting a patch through on Sony or Microsoft, or Nintendo for that matter.
Sure.
Because to put something through, kind of like, you remember when Skyrim went to the Switch?
Oh, yeah, and they had additional requirements, right?
Yeah, and they went, yeah, your game doesn't really meet our requirements for it. Patch these things, fix it, and make it a workable, not broken, buggy mess, please.
Yeah.
And they had to go, oh, shit, we'll actually fix this.
Yeah.
Which they didn't have to do for anywhere else. But, like, for putting a patch through on, or even just a content thing, through console, I think we've talked about before, you have to go through their standards.
Yes.
And they have to go, yeah, this is good. Steam and Epic, you don't really have to do that on PC as much. There's not as much in the way. But part of the reason, for instance, with Elite Dangerous, game I really love, they decided to pull the plug on all their console development. I think we talked about briefly at some point. Because they wanted to focus on the live service of the game, the online and currently evolving storyline going forward, and it was really hard to do that with having to play catch up on console.
Right.
Like, these were basically two different live service games at that point.
Yeah.
Where they did not share between the two. It's harder to do multiplayer between the two because you have to keep everything in line, and then if you want to do that properly, you'd have to hold back the PC until the consoles were able to be pushed forward, which not always ideal.
So that's why it's not a requirement. It's just
Probably.
that they're making the, infrastructure essentially feasible so that if people wanted to do it. I mean, they mentioned that, like, with Fortnite, because, I mean, I guess that's Epic themselves, they did that, so they're just making a framing for it. Now, I'm going to give you another piece that I'm not as happy about.
Is it the adult games that we already talked about?
No, we've already talked about that, and we already know, from the PC Gamer article. On the flip side, Valve has restrictions that Epic doesn't. Unlike Steam, the Epic Game Store has no ban on blockchain games. Now, I was mentioning this to you when I saw this, but I don't necessarily mind that they're going to allow blockchain games, but I need to have them very prominently labeled as blockchain games.
Yeah, you need a keyword in that game to say Web3 technology.
You need something there, because it's for the same reason that we have tags for, like, simulated gambling or anything like that, but realistically, like, something on, like, the actual game label itself that makes it clear that it uses blockchain technology, because I don't really like the idea of little Timmy going on to the Epic Store and saying, oh, look, little monsters that you get to evolve and all of that. I'm gonna get this game. And before you know it, they're like, yeah, well, little Timmy, the thing is, you need crypto to buy these in the first place so that you can essentially get an NFT that is your little monster. And now you're going to play to earn, or whatever the new catchphrase is.
Yeah. Oh, no. The one you're talking about, Axie Infinity, I think.
Axie Infinity.
Yeah, that's already died, apparently, so it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, that ran into some issues itself.
Oh, yeah.
A few.
Anyways, we're not talking about that.
We've
I'm in the
about
same
that
boat.
now.
I don't mind if they have blockchain games. It's not a big, like, oh, don't do it ever kind of thing. It's interesting if you want to play around with it. I'm sure someone might be able to make something interesting with it, but, like, definitely make sure it's something you are very aware upfront about. To be fair, Kind of like a vegan. People that are into the blockchain don't fucking shut up about it.
This I hear way too much from the crypto bros about blockchain, and I'm like, I've seen this before. I really don't need you to try and explain it to me again. I'm not buying the damn ape. Sorry. Flip side of this, something that I am happy about Epic doing is that they do take smaller cuts from the developer. They have like a 12% cut that they take, and Steam usually does 20. But now what they are...
Well, I think they just lowered theirs to 20. I think it was
Steam,
higher.
It was 30, if I remember correctly.
I think so.
Yeah, but still, Epic is at like 12. But the other thing that's interesting here is that Epic is going to allow developers to use their own payment processing for in-game transactions. I think they might be doing that right now. Bypasses Epic's revenue cut. Steam requires in-game transactions to use your Steam wallet. So basically, when you're doing microtransactions with your Steam games, they get a cut at all that too, because it's going through your Steam wallet. Epic's going to bypass that completely, so that you can do microtransactions on your own accord, so they don't take a cut of that. In terms of pro dev house kind of development or publishing, that's great. That's great. It puts more money in the hands of the people that are making the games themselves.
Which is nice.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So, good on Epic for doing that. There's pros and cons here, but I think overall it's pretty positive for people that are looking to develop games, that Epic is going to look more appealing to them. And we'll see what happens. But I think that they're right. It probably will mean more games on the platform, and Lord knows Epic could use them. What do all of you think? What are you excited about when it comes to Epic, Steam, or realistically, are you excited at all? Because it does seem like we have so many game stores to keep track of at this point.
There's less than there were. I just hope that Epic does a better job implementing their storefront better, like the cart. For instance, I think you still can't add multiple things into the cart.
I think they finally figured out how to do that, but it took them years. It took them years to figure out cart
the friends
technology.
thing. Oh, it's like I don't have a lot of games on. Actually, I have a ton of games on Epic, and I don't play like any of them. And it's like not that I play a lot of games with friends.
Well, they do the free game a week.
Yeah,
they do the
so
games.
I don't always get them. Right now, it's Call of the Sea. I probably won't pick it up.
Why not?
Because I probably won't ever play it. I think I saw you play it.
I've played it. Yeah, I still picked it
so
up.
I don't need. I played it vicariously through you.
Exactly. Anyway, for anyone who was out there and was thinking about picking that up, I would say it's a recommend for me. It's a puzzle game. It looks really good. It's not particularly long. What do you use for a game service on your PC? Are you Steam? Are you an Epic? Are you one of those dastardly GOG people like me? What do you use? And why? Tell me about that in the comments.
E2A.com.
No.
Don't do that.
No. We do not accept that one. Sorry. Whole other deal.